Losing weight in the last 5 years or so has been a highly frustrating yet fascinating endeavor. After the birth of my twins and my cancer journey in 2020 and 2021, everything I thought I knew about my body and my body's ability to lose weight changed. And there was this moment about a year or so ago where I had this huge realization, and it wasn't a good one. I realized that what I had been trying to do and what always worked for me in the past, it just wasn't going to work going forward. Stuff like doing these strict challenges, periods of strictness, 21-day challenges, some fasting, stuffing myself to the gills with salad. It just wasn't possible for me anymore, and I didn't even really know why. But what I did know is that I couldn't stick to anything strict for more than a day or two. I tried so many iterations of this stuff over the past 4 years, including just working to think it wasn't strict and it wasn't hard and that it was all very easy. And all of this led me to a stark realization. I was just going to have to find a new way. You're listening to the Set Point Science podcast, the science behind how your body and brain regulate weight for good. I'm your host, Sherry Alberts, and on today's episode, we're talking about why your body won't release weight until it feels safe. Okay, so by this point, I had done so many stop and start type things, and I realized that it just wasn't changing. You know, you get that, I'll try this, and you get excited, you give it a chance, you think you figured it out, but then you find you can't stick to it for more than a day. You start to think it's your metabolism, your age, or the medications you're on. You go from hopeful to helpless in 18 hours every day, several times a week for years. It's exhausting. But being the eternal optimist that I am, who doesn't know when to quit, I naturally started to wonder maybe the answer lay in the opposite of what I was doing, just doing less effort somehow. In reality, it felt like it was a sort of a cross between giving up and refusing to settle for the worst outcome. I wondered, what if I just became more chill about all this? Is that what naturally thin people are like? What would that look like? I had no idea, actually, but I just felt like I couldn't ask anything else because I already tried everything else. You see, most of us were taught that if weight loss isn't working, the answer is more effort. But I started to think, well, what if effort is actually part of the problem? And sometime during this time period, I found ChatGPT. I thought, I wonder if AI can be like my weight loss coach and help me sort this out. So I think I asked ChatGPT like 20 times, why can't I lose this weight? This is what happened this weekend. Why isn't this working? Why do I keep doing this? Is it my medication? Is it my age? And on one particularly unremarkable day, after a string of unremarkable responses over a few weeks, a simple word in this one response caught my eye. It was the word safe. I don't remember the exact phrasing now because you never know the exact moment when you're really onto something, but that word hit me like a ton of bricks. My chat said something to the effect of, the body needs to feel safe to let the weight go. And this is where it all changed for me, because for the first time, this word helped me see that I wasn't just weak. My body wasn't being stubborn or broken, but that the missing piece was that my body was trying to be protective, actually. The strictness had perhaps made it feel unsafe, so it held on. It wasn't fighting me, it was actually defending me, it was trying to help me. And suddenly everything started to make sense, the struggle. Strictness wasn't the solution anymore because strictness can't be eternally steady, especially as you grow older. And it's like that sprint versus marathon thing, right? True steadiness, and then in turn consistency, is something the body can only access when it feels truly safe, calm, chill, in the zone, flow, right? Quiet rhythm that I had been trying to force for years. Maybe it didn't come from discipline at all. Maybe it came from safety. So that moment, that single word, safe, it became the seed for everything that followed. This work, this understanding, this podcast. Because maybe the body doesn't resist weight loss. Maybe it's actually longing for steadiness, but it won't allow that steadiness until things feel predictable and calm. So we ask, why can't I lose weight when I want it so badly, right? But maybe it has nothing to do with wanting. Maybe it has everything to do with whether the body feels safe enough to let go. Because the body doesn't resist weight loss. It resists unsafety. So my problem was never lack of discipline. It was lack of safety. And maybe yours is too. So what does that actually mean, safety? Let's talk about it from a scientific and biological perspective. So when the body senses danger, real or imagined, we know something called the HPA axis lights up. That's what they call this physiological system in the body that responds to stress. So it's three parts: HPA, the hypothalamus, the pituitary gland, and the adrenals. When your body senses danger, whether it's real or imagined, these three small parts inside your body start working together like a little emergency team. The first one is the hypothalamus. So it's a tiny area deep in the center of your brain, about the size and shape of an almond. It's filled with special nerve cells that constantly read signals from everywhere: your hormones, your temperature, your blood sugar, hydration, even your emotions. So you can think of it like a thermostat and a little weather station combined. It's always checking, is there enough energy? Are we too hot or too cold? Are we stressed? Are we relaxed? It notices by receiving those chemicals and electrical signals, almost like little text messages coming in from every system in the body. So when too many of those signals together look like danger, hunger, pain, fear, lack of sleep, the hypothalamus flips on the body's alert mode. So it's like your body's little control switch, the part that decides whether things feel safe or stressful in the body. So next in the HPA axis, we go to the pituitary gland. It's another little part in your brain shaped like a pea, hanging just below the hypothalamus. Once that gets the stress signal, it acts like the team captain, sending out instructions through your blood like a little tiny hormone post office. The pituitary itself doesn't release cortisol. Instead, it sends out a different hormone message called ACTH. You can think of ACTH as a little note that says, hey, adrenals down there, we might need extra energy, so get ready. And that brings us to the last part of the HPA axis, which is adrenal glands. You have two of them. They're sitting right on top of your kidneys like little triangular hats. They're filled with special cells that make hormones, especially cortisol, your main stress hormone. So when the adrenal glands get that ACTH signal, they release cortisol into your bloodstream. That's how the message travels from your brain to your body in just seconds. No wires or nerves needed. It's just chemistry. And cortisol has one job: to keep you alive. So here's where it gets fascinating though. Cortisol tells your heart to beat a little faster, your muscles to tense slightly, and your digestion to pause. Also, you're ready to react. That's your body's alarm system doing its job. And the thing stressing you doesn't have to be a lion chasing you. It can be a harsh thought, a looming deadline, a skipped meal, or a series of skipped meals. Even that constant low-level feeling like you're not doing enough. That's your body's alarm system doing its job because stuff is getting stressful. So cortisol's main goal is survival. It knows it needs to protect you in those moments. The faster heartbeat, the slower metabolism, the holding on to fat, keeping your blood sugar steady by taking from reserves. That's cortisol telling your body, let's conserve in case this goes on for a while. This is what keeping you safe actually looks like on the inside. Your body isn't trying to sabotage you, it's trying to shelter you. And this isn't all. At the same time, leptin, the hormone that tells your brain we're fed, we're safe, we don't need anything else, it starts to become less sensitive and responsive, so you don't know when you're full as much. And at the same time, ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone signal, can swing wildly, making you feel hungry at weird times. So you end up feeling tired, hungry, confused, like your body's just not playing fair with you. There's a lot going on in there, but one thing it's not is betrayal. All these hormones working together, subtly changing things. That's your biology trying to protect you. Your system is doing exactly what it was designed to do. Hold on. That might mean holding on to fat, holding on to water, holding on to energy, even holding on to old habits that once felt safe. Because change, even good change, can feel threatening to a body that's on alert. When I finally saw this clearly, I stopped asking, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my metabolism? And I started asking instead, what's my body trying to protect me from? And how can I be more calm all the time, no matter what's going on? And that shift changed everything. Because when we start sending consistent safety signals through nourishment, rhythm, thought, rest, that's when the body starts to relax. Hormones stabilize, digestion improves, energy returns. And this is how the body can learn to let go of old patterns, of old weight. You see, every body has something called a set point. You've probably heard of it before. Think of it like your body's favorite range. It's the weight that it tries to stay around to feel safe. It's managed by your brain, the hormones, the metabolism, all working together like a thermostat. When your life feels stressful or uncertain, your body turns the dial up to hold on to more. When it feels safe and nourished, it slowly turns that dial back down. And that's when weight begins to release naturally without force. It's not magic. It's the biology of safety. If this idea of safety is new or feels relieving, I have a free gentle weight loss guide that walks through these concepts in a simple, grounded way. It's not a plan to follow. It's just something to read and sit with. You can find it at setpointscience.com/podcast guide. Okay, so what does safety actually look like day to day? Because it's not just a feeling, it's a rhythm that your body can recognize. Safety in the body's language means predictability. In food, safety might look like eating enough during the day so your body doesn't panic at night. It means your system trusts that nourishment is coming again soon. No famine, no feast. It's understanding what your body actually needs to be truly nourished instead of following someone else's strict rules. It's a warm meal that you actually enjoy, not a cold salad that you resent, but make yourself muddle through. It's giving yourself permission to eat regularly, not perfectly. Safety in thought means softening the inner language that's been keeping your body on edge. It's catching those automatic thoughts like, ugh, I blew it, or I'll start over tomorrow, or I fell off the wagon, and replacing those with something calmer like, I'm learning a new rhythm, I'm on my way. And safety in rhythm is about creating small, steady beats that your body can sync to, eating around the same time most days, getting sunlight in the morning, building tiny moments of recovery, even 10 seconds of slow breathing or calm thought before you switch tasks. It doesn't have to be dramatic, it just has to be reliable. And by extension, these things must be something that you can sustain long term. So it can't be that forceful stuff we always used to do before, because the body relaxes when it can predict what's going to come next. And that's when everything else starts to change. Your hunger, your sleep, your cravings, even your metabolism. For me, this part was harder than I expected. I'd spent years chasing the next big overhaul, the new plan, the reset, the this time for sure, this is it, I know it. But what my body didn't need was this constant overhaul. It just needed consistency. It needed me to stop reinventing and start reassuring. Some days, safety looks like a full meal when the body asks. Other days, it's just breathing through the chaos and shifting tasks with grace. But either way, the goal is the same, to remind my body, you're safe now. Because when the body feels safe, it starts doing what it was built to do: repair, restore, release. For a long time, I thought calm, easy effort meant you were being complacent. Like if I stopped pushing, I'd lose momentum. If I didn't do things perfectly, right, it would be a problem. Like if I wasn't tracking or striving, I'd somehow slip backward. If I ate foods that were easy and fast, that I was doing something wrong. But I've learned that calm doesn't mean I'm complacent. Calm is actually the condition for change. And here's why. When life feels stressful or unpredictable, your body flips into something called the sympathetic state. That's the fight or flight mode that we've probably heard of. In this state, your heart beats faster, your breathing gets shallow, your muscles tense up, as if you're about to run or defend yourself. It's an amazing survival mechanism when there's real danger, like swerving to avoid a car or catching your child before they fall. But most of the time, the danger we're facing isn't physical, it's emotional. Those harsh thoughts, overflowing to-do list, a day that just won't stop. And when that state stays on too long, the body never gets to rest. Sustained sympathetic activation and HPA axis activity, like we talked about before, they usually travel together. So it's important to understand the opposite state as well, which is called the parasympathetic state, sometimes called rest and digest. This is the calm mode, the one that allows your heart rate to slow down, your muscles to release, and your digestion and hormones to rebalance. This is where healing happens, where your body can finally hear you again. When we're calm, our nervous system can finally switch into that parasympathetic state. It's not lazy. It's actually deeply productive. This is the state where your metabolism wakes back up, your hunger signals make sense again, and your body starts releasing what it's been holding. Calm isn't giving up. It's actually collaborating with your biology. It's creating that internal environment where change can finally happen. And here's the reframe that actually changed everything for me. The gentler I am, the faster my body responds. Every time I slow down, breathe, or eat enough, My body gives me proof. It shows me that safety isn't passive, it's powerful. So if you've been afraid that calm means quitting, it doesn't. It means you're finally signaling to your body, you can stop defending now. We're safe. So this is where everything started to click for me. All those years of chasing, forcing, fixing, they were built on the idea that my body was the problem. But now I see that my body was just waiting for me to stop treating it like an enemy and start treating it like a partner. That's what restoration really means. It's about returning to rhythm, to regulation, to trust. The same trust that we were born with before we ever doubted our hunger or second-guessed our needs. When I finally began feeding myself regularly, resting when I was tired, and speaking to myself with a little more gentleness, my body began to respond. Not instantly, not dramatically, but quietly. My energy evened out, my cravings softened, my body began to release in its own time. Because when the body feels safe, it restores balance on its own. That's not philosophy, it's physiology. That HPA axis calms down. Leptin sensitivity improves. Ghrelin stabilizes. Your set point, that defended weight range, it slowly begins to shift. And this is the heart of set point science. Transformation doesn't come from control. It comes from collaboration. It comes from safety, rhythm, restoration. So before I change anything now, I ask a simple question. Am I acting from safety and trust or from fear? If it's fear, the work isn't to push harder. It's to create safety first. That's the foundation of everything I'm teaching and still learning myself. And what I know, both from the science and from experience, is that when the body finally feels safe, it lets go. And that's when real permanent change begins. This is the shift from force to flow, from survival to safety, from control to restoration. If there's one thing I hope you take from today, it's this. Your body isn't broken. It's brilliant. It's been protecting you all along. What looks like resistance is often just defense from erratic patterns. And the moment you begin sending signals of safety through rhythm, nourishment, rest, thought, stress reduction, your body starts to trust you again. That's when everything begins to shift. And if you're already thinking about how do I live this out with my real, messy, tough life, I get it. I've seen it. I've lived it. And that's exactly what we're going to start exploring in the coming episodes. And next week in episode 2, we're going to talk about why weight loss often feels harder the smarter you are and how overthinking can actually be a form of protection. And remember, if you want a gentle way to explore this on your own, I put together a free resource for you called the Gentle Weight Loss Guide. It's designed to help you understand your body's signals and reduce pressure without tracking, forcing, and fixing yourself. You can find it at setpointscience.com/podcast guide. Thank you so much for listening to this first episode of Set Point Science. Remember, your body doesn't resist weight loss. It resists unsafety. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. Your body's listening.